Hello, my beautiful sisters. 19 years ago, when I started hair school, I was told that I should never be out in public unless I had my hair and my makeup done. And I was put to a test when I'm trying to think of many years into my career when I had 3 kids that I ran face to face with a client at a grocery store without hair or makeup done. And I was in my workout clothes with my 3 kids. And I remember I saw my client and I froze, and that instructor from hair school came in my brain saying, "Don't ever be seen without hair and makeup. Like, you should be mortified." And it was this like test of like, all right, Shelly. And I tried to kind of dodge, and she saw me. We made eye contact, and I just took a breath and I kept walking. And to my surprise, my client, she did not care what I looked like without makeup. And she was so excited to see my kids. I had 2 in the driver car, a grocery cart filled with groceries for the week, and a little baby in the front carrier. And it was like one of those moments where I decided that just because somebody told me something didn't make it true. And all of this boiled down to that I could not love myself looking the way that I looked without makeup on. I was with my husband for probably, this is like so sad, I'm going to say it, for 2 years before I let him see me without makeup. I always had this like shame about my eyelashes and my eyebrows because I was born like this, very Viking, very light skinned. And I learned at a young age that to be beautiful, that I had to wear black mascara and I had to have lots of makeup. And I adopted that as a part of who I was. And for many of years, when I was in the beauty industry, I disguised myself. I wore a makeup mask. I masked myself in big fancy hair. I masked myself in clothes. And I went to a yoga teacher training after I stopped doing hair. I did hair for 14 years and it just miraculously worked out. And I went to a yoga teacher training, and I remember showing up there and nobody had their hair curled. Nobody, probably, I would say 75% of the women did not have on makeup. And I was like, what is happening here? Like, these women are here with just ponytails and no makeup on. And this was just like such this test to me to embrace myself and love myself the way that I am, the way that I was. And that continues today. And so I'm here sharing my story with you, my beautiful sisters, that embracing ourselves, flaws and all, loving ourselves in all of our imperfections. Like, you are perfectly imperfect, like just the way you are. And it has taken me, my sisters, 38 years. I'm 38 now, but 37 years to get here. And I still have my moments. And knowing that, like I wrote in my book, Awaken You, life is a practice. It's not a perfect. And I know me, of all people, I set goals. I am a goer. I'm a grower. I always want to do things. But I am encouraging you here that we must learn how to love ourselves the way that we are. And I know it's so challenging because we are told that we need to look a certain way. We need to be a certain way. We need to do all of these things. And then we can love ourselves, right? We think, like, I will be perfect, whole, and complete when I am the mom and I have the kids. Well, the mom and the kids, that brings a whole slew of anxiety and overwhelm because now you're in charge of these children. Right? I'm a homeschool mom. Like, I tell myself, like, I will do these things when, I will be here when. Well, when is now my sisters. We have to learn how to be with ourselves and love ourselves just the way we are. And I have found through the powerful practice of gratitude that gratitude can help us get closer to our heart selves, right? When we're so lost in anxiety and overwhelmed, we're stuck here. We're stuck in our ego, in our inner critic, whatever you call it, that inner voice that's always talking and telling us what we're not doing right, blah, 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 that voice, right? But when we can detach from that voice, like we can we can detach from that voice with gratitude, with breath. So, whatever is going on, I encourage you, my sisters, that there are things that we can do to help us get closer to love, right? To help us get closer to loving ourselves, flaws and all, because whether you want to hear this or not, you are perfectly imperfect just the way you are. And you were put on this planet for a very specific reason. Even if you are not aware of that, I know that we all were. And there are so many people in my life who do not see their value. And I can see it. I can sense it. We were all born with very specific talents and gifts, but a lot of us waste it because we get so stuck up in this thinking mind, and it tells us that we cannot do all the things that we want to do. But my beautiful sisters, with the help of gratitude, we can get closer to that. And it's as easy as every morning you start writing on a journal that you feel good with, that you connect with. And this matters because the way that we feel about things, our emotional state, is what brings things into our life. What we become, we attract. So if we become a grateful heart, a grateful head, all of this is going to come back to us because the universe loves gratitude, my beautiful sisters. So get a journal and you write 1 through 11. I am so grateful. And every morning, I have done this for the past 7 years now. Gratitude just plays on my mind. I'm so grateful for you pillows. I'm grateful for you blankets. No matter where you are, I'm grateful to be alive. I woke up today. There's so many things, people, experiences, emotions that we can be grateful for. Again, no matter where you are, my sisters, no matter what's happening, we can get closer to loving ourselves through the practice of gratitude. And this is amazing. I actually just learned this from Bob Proctor, who's been one of my spiritual mentors for many years. And I learned that he passed away, I think last month. And his legacy he shifted so much in my life, is that start your morning with that gratitude practice. And then send 3 people love who are bothering you. 3 people that maybe you can't stand, that you're struggling with, you're having a hard time with. My kids have been driving me nuts lately. You sit with yourself after you write what you're grateful for. You send them love no matter what. This is for you, not them. This could even be people who have hurt you deeply, people that you don't even talk to, but maybe affect you in a subconscious way that you might not be aware of. You send them love. And then after that, wherever you are, if you're with your kids, maybe you could pop in like some soothing, calming music or frequency, and you sit for 5 minutes with yourself. Get quiet. And you can ask the universe, whatever it is you believe in, for guidance. Ask for positive energy. Maybe ask for signs that maybe you are feeling stuck between 2 things and you're in like a rock and a hard place, and maybe you've worked really hard at something and there's like all these roadblocks. Maybe you can get quiet and say, like, please, universe, guide me in the right direction. Like, show me a sign. And I will tell you, ask for a sign. Show me hearts or whatever comes up for you. And I will challenge you to not find your sign if you are open to it, because the universe will always bring what we need into our lives. And this practice is something that seems kind of silly at first, but 3 things, right, that you can do to help bring yourself closer to loving yourself is you can start a gratitude practice. And know that gratitude is something that you don't just like check off of your to-do list. Gratitude, which you can actually, but you have to make gratitude a part of who we are. Like, it has to be something that we do all of the time, because think of how many times a day you catch yourself randomly thinking all of the thoughts just streaming through, randomly all of the worries. What if in those moments we can reach for gratitude? So every time you're like, oh my gosh, this is so, whatever is happening, pause and then just reach for, in that moment, what it is you're grateful for. On your hand, I'm so grateful that I'm breathing. I'm so grateful that whatever it is that you can reach for gratitude. And even knowing that difficult times help us grow, right? That we are put on this planet to not be stagnant. And so many of us get caught in being stagnant. And my beautiful sisters, I just want to encourage that you can learn how to love yourself. And that when we love ourselves just the way that we are, we can love those around us better. And I was watching this lovely, I think I was actually listening, not watching, a lovely Oprah video, and she was saying how one of her employees' husband passed away, and in the service it was so amazing because everyone was just saying how wonderful and amazing this man was and how much love he was and how much good he did on the planet. And she had this moment where she thought of, it doesn't matter how many episodes I put out of my show or this content that I'm providing. What matters is the type of person I am. So I will ask you, my lovely sisters, what kind of a person are you? Like, what are you putting out? Are you putting out anxiety and overwhelm? I know I get caught up in it with my kids, and when we do homeschool, I get really frustrated because my kids are all at these ages where they're just butting heads with me and telling me what they're doing, even though I remind them, hi, I'm here to help you and guide you into the things that you need to do. And so know that what we put out comes back to us. So if we are putting out just anger and rage and yelling at everyone, that is going to come back to us. This is a finite law of attraction. It's not just what we think. Like, if we think one thought and put it out, it will come back to us. The finite, the actual complete law that Wayne Dyer, one of my spiritual mentors, shared with us is that what we become is what we attract, right? So if we are being kind to ourselves, if we are having a grateful heart, then we are going to attract all the good that we want into our lives. And on the flip, if we're putting out negative thoughts, if we're judging, we're being mean, we're gossiping, we're saying hurtful things to people, we're being really confrontational, what do you think we're going to attract? We're going to attract all of that back to us, and it's going to come back multiplied. And no, my friends, right? It's a practice. It's not a perfect. We all have slip up days where it is really hard. Like, I know I have really been struggling this week myself with like staying on my agenda, and that things are not working out the way that I have thought that they were going to work out. And I get this inner turmoil, and then it actually stops me in my tracks. Like, that's my way of being like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, procrastinate, push things off. And I can notice that. And that's the miraculous shift that I have made, is that I can notice these things. And sometimes it's not in the moment or not in the day, or there'll be just moments where I can see it. And I give myself compassion, and I'll have like an inner talk and say, like, I see you, Shelly. I notice what you're doing. I notice you're feeling overwhelmed. And I have noticed for me that when I do get really overwhelmed with my load of all of the things, my mind has such a hard time processing. So bringing order into my life through making a list is really helpful. And sometimes I have the intention, I have this whole list for one day, and I'm like, and I will just chalk it up. So I have shifted that from my list of what I'm doing today to my weekly list, because I set myself for these very high expectations and that I need to do these things. So I have shifted that expectation to, this is what I'm going to do for the week. And if I don't accomplish everything, I'm not going to berate myself, and be mean to myself. I'm going to give myself compassion and say, okay, Shelly, that's okay. Try again. Okay, I'm going to come back to that list, right? I think all of these things can help bring us closer to loving ourselves just the way we are. We don't have to wait to lose the 10 pounds, to lose the 50 pounds, to even go to the meditation retreat, or go get the pedicure or the manicure or the massage that we think will boost us up, because it will in that moment. Like, maybe we'll go and get really relaxed and feel really good for a little bit, and then what? Like, what is our programming going to bring us back to, my beautiful sisters? So I am just here, I'm holding space for you, and knowing that You are perfectly imperfect just the way you are. And I believe, as for me and for you and for all of us on this planet, that we are put here for very specific reasons. And we might not know. We might not know why. And the best thing we can do is show up for each moment as it presents itself, right? Because I know in my experience, the worst thing I can do is that I put myself up here, and then when I don't achieve or accomplish that, then I'm so hard on myself. But when I can just show up for all the things that life is giving me, right? Versus what we think life is like. Why is it so hard? Like, why is life doing this? When we can flip that perspective, shift that perspective to life is happening for me, not to me, right? That is when we can start loving ourselves in the world around us. I love you, my friends. I'm so grateful for you. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, share this channel, and I'm just here showing up, feeling inspired to share the things and showing up perfectly imperfect. My beautiful lovelies, I love you. And I also created a podcast called Awaken You with Shelly Bond, and it's on all of your favorite platforms. My favorite is iTunes. I know some people like Anchor, some people like Stitcher, some people like Spotify. Wherever you want, you hop on there. And if I'm not on there, I should be, but just look around and know that I'm here showing up every week for myself, which in turn is showing up for you. And I just want to authentically say that I love you so much. And I want you to honor and acknowledge yourself for all that you are, all that you've done, all that you all of it, and knowing that you are a lovely, lovely human, and the world needs all that you have to offer it, right? All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. I love you so much.